Oh my god. You should see what I've stood the camera on. it's actually it's actually insane. There's a stool, then there's a suitcase, then there's a book, and then there's my drone case. It's a lot. Um but I don't have a tripod, so and it works. Hello everybody, my name is Juliet and welcome to my channel Girl Wondrous. Yeah. Today I'm going to be talking about happiness and how I find happiness in difficult, challenging times, like, the craziness that has been life over the past year and a bit, and just like not even all that stuff, but also just finding happiness when happiness isn't automatically there. And also ways that I've kind of overcome my bad mental health state when I was in high school, because I've done a lot of healing since high school, and my mental health is in such a better place now than it was back then. And in this video, I'm going to share ways that I improved my mental health and how I find happiness. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. So one way that I find happiness in difficult times is by dancing and listening to music. Dancing really helps me move my body and just get any energy out of me that doesn't need to be there, and just allows me to flow. I mean, for me, dancing is one of the best tools that I have, because you don't even have to be good at dancing. When you're in your room by yourself, it feels just amazing to just be free and dance and enjoy the music that you're listening to. And dancing is something that I stopped doing for a while, and only over the past couple months have I been like integrating it back into my life. I used to dance, like actually dance, like in a class and in competitions and stuff when I was younger for a very long time, like from ages about 8 to 15 I think I was when I stopped. So I danced for basically my whole childhood, and then when I stopped dancing altogether, and now that I'm dancing in a way that isn't competitive, or I don't know, there's no competition around it, it's just for the fun of it, it's like, I don't know, it just feels great. I would recommend doing it. Just looking stupid, but really dancing like no one's watching, because no one is watching. But yeah. Another thing dancing does is also it grounds me and puts me back into my body, which is something that is really important when I'm feeling depressed or sad, or like just not happy, I guess. Just when I'm in a state where it's not a pleasant experience and I'm struggling, grounding and bringing myself back to my body is probably the best way that I can become happy again, or at least just overcome the bad feeling. Number 2 is allowing my emotions and feelings to be there, even if they don't feel too great. This one was actually a really, really hard one for me to actually start doing, because it's one of those things where when you're in the moment and you're feeling the bad feeling, you don't really remember to just stop and slow down because you're so caught in it. At least that was my experience. But eventually I started doing it, and I'm at a point now where I can automatically kind of just remember to just slow down and allow it to be there. And when I think about it, the frustration and the anger towards the not so pleasant feeling is what creates the suffering. Because when you just stop and you don't react and you just sit there with the feeling, it doesn't really necessarily feel too bad or too good, because you're just in the moment and you're just allowing it to be there, so there's no reaction, and it makes life so much easier. I mean, it made life so much easier for me, so I would definitely recommend trying that. This actually happened literally last night, and I was just feeling so gross I had this horrible, like, just feeling around me, and it was not pleasant by any means whatsoever. And then finally, when I slowed down and I stopped, which I really resisted because I really did not want to feel this feeling, but when I did eventually stop and slow down and I didn't react to the feeling, I just sat there and breathed and just went into the feeling basically. I came out of this like small little meditation that I did for myself, and I didn't feel it anymore, because when you allow it to flow, it flows away or it transmutes into something else, and then you feel great. I felt great after, at least, so yeah. Meditation and breathing is not the only way that I do this though. There's a myriad of ways to do it. Is myriad a word? I think it is. I hope so, because I just said it. Yes, there's a bunch of ways to do it. You can do it by dancing. If you don't like breathing or meditating, I mean, I would definitely try doing that because it's amazing. But yeah, there's different ways, because sometimes I don't feel like doing it either. So instead, I'll paint, I'll dance again, I'll sew as well. Basically anything in a creative space. But the best way for me, and I think a lot of people as well, would be breath work, or just meditating, or just sitting there and doing nothing. Not even focusing on breathing, just sitting there and doing nothing. As well, I guess journaling as well can really help. Journaling really helps me as well. So, yeah. Number 3, gratitude. Okay, gratitude is probably what has helped me the most in becoming a happier person over the past year and a half. Like, gratitude is a huge thing that I don't think enough of us focus on, because it is crazy how much it's helped me. So gratitude is sometimes something that won't come naturally in the moment, especially if that moment you're not feeling too great. But sometimes to push yourself to even just speak or write down your gratitude, because like there are times when it feels impossible to actually feel it, and it might actually be impossible for you in that moment to truly feel gratitude because you're feeling so low and so sad. But just by writing it down or speaking it into words, it allows your mind to sort of think about the bright side of it, and just appreciate it a bit more, even if you don't feel that way. And another thing, by doing that, it sort of gives you practice to do it next time. And then when you remember next time, you'll remember next time, and you just kind of get into the habit of doing it. Because gratitude, once you become grateful for anything, it's really easy to overcome stuff, and it's really easy just to look at the positive side of life, which is something that can really, really help. I mean, I think that happiness is a positive energy, so looking at the positive side of things definitely will help you or benefit you in some way. Ways that I easily find gratitude is when I'm in nature. My gratitude towards nature and Mother Earth is just so strong. It sort of came out of nowhere, honestly. It just started one day where I was like, oh my god, nature is amazing. And it sort of, that gratitude bled into all aspects of my life. And I'm grateful for everything, even if I'm sad or lonely or like just in a negative vibration or feeling. I just feel grateful for it. I mean, sometimes, not all the time, don't get me wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, there are times where I just need to sit in my own sorrow and pity myself. But even in those times, I'll try and look at a way that this could be benefiting me. Even if it doesn't feel like it is benefiting me, I will speak, think, or write down ways that I believe it is benefiting me, because something always is benefiting you, even if it really doesn't feel like it. So, yeah. Number 4 is to rest when I need to. Resting is so important for me, and I'm not just talking about physical rest like sleep. I mean mental rest as well. I have a really overactive mind. It's actually insane how overactive my mind is sometimes. And so resting my mind is like a practice that I always need to do, and I always need to remind myself to do it, because I don't think I do it enough, just because of how overactive my mind is. Like, I overthink everything, I overanalyze everything. Editing this video, I know, Juliet, when you're editing this video, you're overthinking it right now. So, yeah, I just overthink everything. So resting is a really important way for me to find happiness, because it goes back to grounding and being grounded and just being in my body. So resting is just huge. And because I feel like this is such a big one for me, I mentally rest in many ways. Sometimes it's really difficult for me to get into that headspace, because it's not just like sleeping where you're tired so you sleep. Like, my brain does not want to rest. And so sometimes, like, it's really difficult. But dancing, again, I'm mentioning dancing. I do a lot of dancing. Exercising, working out, going on walks, runs, painting, anything basically in a creative space, like sewing. That's something that I've picked up recently. Yeah, literally anything. I'll find just random hobbies. Like, I have a million hobbies, because I'll just find a million ways to try and rest my brain and turn it off for a bit. And so basically anything creative is a way that I'll rest my brain. Number 5 is do something fun. Oh, yes. So I feel like finding fun is different for every single person, but for me, I just like to call out my inner child, because it changes all the time. Like, one day I might find going to the beach fun, and then the next day I might not want to go to the beach at all, and I want to stay home and do something else. So I just kind of call out my inner child and figure out how I feel like having fun that day. And when I bring out my inner child, it just brings this beautiful innocence and this just freeing feeling, because I don't know, my inner child doesn't have any because my inner child doesn't have any expectations, and I'm just having fun, and that's it. That's literally it, just because I feel like doing it. So it's a really good practice to get into, and I would definitely recommend trying to do that and just finding what feels fun in that moment. Like, for example, today I had fun by doing my makeup and my hair and getting a little dressed up. I don't know, that was just the way that I felt like having fun today, because, I'm locked in my house and there's not much to do outside because, we can't go anywhere. But yeah, this is just my way that I felt like having fun today. Last one is number 6, which is eating intuitively. Now, this one has been a very complicated one, because I don't know, I think it's a bit of a wobbly line between healthy eating and unhealthy eating, but I don't mean in a way of like foods, I mean in the way that people eat. The way I eat. My relationship with food was never complicated up until high school, and when I was in high school, I ate pretty unhealthy in my food. I mean, like, not just the way I ate, like, I mean the actual foods that I was eating were unhealthy. And then when I came out of high school, I sort of realized how I've been affected by my unhealthy eating, and I was kind of angry at myself, and I went to the polar opposite side where I was being like way too healthy to a point where it was miserable for me. I hated it. I wasn't enjoying it. And I was thinking too much about food like all the time. Every time before I ate, I was like thinking about, oh, but I don't want to eat something too bad. I'd feel guilty about literally eating like an extra smoothie bowl. Like that's how ridiculous it got. Like I would feel guilty about eating healthy food. Well, like healthy food, you know what I mean? Like actual healthy food. But recently I've found balance, and I do definitely agree that I am not in a perfect place yet, but I'm so much better than I was before. I've just found this sort of equilibrium where if I just feel like eating, I'll eat, and I will try not to think too much about it. And I've just started eating in a way where I'll just eat when I'm hungry, because before I didn't really do that. I tried to stick to some sort of schedule, or even when I was in high school I would eat when I wasn't hungry. And so now I'm finding this place where I'm starting to eat when I actually feel like eating, and sometimes that could be literally 2 o'clock will be the first time that I eat in the afternoon. And other times I'll be like so hungry when I wake up and I'll want to eat straight away. So it sort of changes day to day. But ever since I've started doing this, it has actually really helped my happiness, which is something that I was not expecting, honestly. I mean, I've become a lot more happy, my mind has been a lot clearer, and I'm just not thinking so much about food all the time. And I don't know, I just feel a lot more balanced, and my body feels a lot better as well. I don't know, I just feel a lot stronger, and I just trust my body a lot more when it comes to exercising and moving, and I don't know, my self-esteem is just a lot higher, which is another thing. So, I mean, eating intuitively was something I was not expecting to ever put on a list like this, but but has definitely helped me like a crazy amount. And that is why it is the last thing on my list of ways I find happiness in difficult times. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be posting more videos like this because I don't know, I just like sitting down in front of the camera, and I want to try and start posting multiple times a week. And these types of videos where I'm just sitting on my bed, not really doing, like just talking, not doing it, going outside, doing anything crazy. I don't know, it just makes it easier for me to post more often. And not only that, but since we're in lockdown, there's not many places that I can go. So, yeah. But anyways, I will see you guys in my next video, which will hopefully be in a couple days. It will definitely be next week sometime. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!